Good day, how are you? My name is Gary Liao. I'm the Director of Industry 4.0 and Ecosystem Development for ViTrox Corporation Berhad. In ViTrox, we're going to share with you more on the V1, our digital dynamic dashboard and AI analytics. So with V1, actually you can get connected to your systems, machines, processes, and then visualize it in our digital dynamic dashboard with AI analytics. We're going to show you step-by-step how to do connection, visualization, and proactive action for your prediction of maintenance. Please enjoy the video. If there's any areas that we can help, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
V1 emphasizes the revolution of manufacturing industry towards Industry 4.0. V1 is a smart manufacturing software-based solution that stores your inspection and production data on a real-time basis. Apart from the unlimited access to your personalized dashboard, the configurable triggering system will alert you on the abnormalities in a machine beforehand. With the latest V1, we provide real-time notification and e-ticketing feature to help users achieve no-touch line and smart manufacturing goals in no time. With the idea of connect, visualize, and proact, V1 stands out of Industry 4.0 as it is applicable to the customers of diverse industries.
So, did you receive what you want to get? I hope you do. If not, you can feel free to contact us at any time with our email address and our phone number, and we will able to reach out to you as soon as possible. Last but not least, V1 is able to help you in many areas in terms of connect, visualize, and proact. With this, we'll make your digitalization process just a click away. And that, thank you very much.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Dixon and I'm your moderator for today. Today our topic is the digital path with V1, how to start top to down or bottom to up by two of the members of our V1 team, Mr. Tan Hock Kun and Ms. Karen Savarimutu. And we also have Dr. Chua Wen Shen from the Selangor Human Resource Development Center. First of all, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Before we begin, a couple of things for you to keep in mind throughout the presentation. Today's webinar will take approximately 40 minutes of presentation and 15 minutes of Q&A session. During the presentation, all participants will be muted to smooth up the speaker's presentation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please submit them in the Q&A feature below. Once the presentation ended, we will proceed to the Q&A session, and at the end of the presentation, where we will be answering your submitted question, we will finish the webinar with a webinar survey poll for you to take to express your experience with us today. Lastly, you'll get a recorded webinar via thank you email soon. Here, I'll read you the presentation disclaimer. This presentation is intended for educational purpose only and does not replace independent professional judgment. Statement of act and opinion expressed are those of the participants individually, and unless expressed stated to the contrary, are not the opinion or position of ViTrox Technologies. ViTrox Technologies does not endorse or approve and assumes no responsibility for the content, accuracy, or completeness of the information presented. Attendees should note that the sessions are audio recorded and may be published in various media, including print, audio, and videos format without further notice. So we have really good information today, so you walk away with a lot. We would like to make this webinar as interactive as we could for you. You can ask questions, so feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A function. The questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Ms. Karen. Ms. Karen, who has more than 20 years of experience in the information technology industry, Experience includes sales and marketing, network management, cloud computing, product development, managing cross-functional initiatives, and data center management sector covering Malaysia and Asia. So here I'll pass the mic to Ms. Karen.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great day today, and I'm very happy today to welcome everyone to this webinar to learn, to explore, and to find out what you can bring along with you at the end of this session and start off with your journey into digital path with V1. All right. I think everyone have seen this everywhere now. It's happening everywhere. Why we call it digitalization or digital transformation is not an option anymore, where previously when we are talking about IR 4.0, everybody say, okay, it is necessary. Is it a standardization, similarly like ISO certifications and so on? But now it has a necessity that everyone need to take up this transformation into your businesses, because in today's era, digital transformation is a strategic for your business opportunities. It comes from a lot of new technologies around you. So it is a very good time for you to adopt your technologies and improve your business opportunities. All right, if you see this, it's a road to success. Everyone wants to have a success in whatever do's that we want to do. If you rise to the challenges that we have now, and you make that impossible to possible, and you change that to a respective change, then you'll be able to climb the ladder of success. So the story is very simple. Challenge to the pain points, make them possible, accept the changes, and you see the success. Simple, right? All right, so let's see what we can do next. All right, this is a simple survey that we have done recently. The playing field is permanently changed, and the enterprises are focused on digital like never before. Why never before? If you see the percentage of here, 89% of organizations, they feel that digital transformation is currently a priority. Why? We share to you later on during our session. And 87% of organizations have formal digital strategies in place. That means they already know that it is very important and they are moved forward to these opportunities. And 50% of organizations have tactically made up their roadmaps to this digital planning. It is 50%. If you see 3 years ago, it's just about 10 to 15%. If you see this, there's tremendously an improvement that people are start and already believing their data are a successful input for them for their future. All right. Okay, this is something that I want to share. It's a survey done by McKinsey company that shows how much important that you need to move yourself forward into digitalizations. Let's see the slides.
Digital technologies, Industry 4.0, are sweeping through the manufacturing sector. Machine and product connectivity, advanced data analytics, virtual and augmented reality, robotics, 3D printing, and other advanced production methods are boosting productivity, unleashing efficiencies, accelerating time to market, and transforming business models. To date, Germany and the United States are the global frontrunners. A new survey by McKinsey & Company finds that ASEAN companies have been slower to climb aboard. There is no lack of optimism in the region. 90% of respondents believe Industry 4.0 will improve their performance. 96% believe it will change their business models, but only 13% have begun the transformation. But with labour costs rising in China and its economy pivoting from exports to domestic consumption, ASEAN manufacturers now have the opportunity to regain their stature as factories to the world. And it is an opportunity that must be built on productivity gains. While ASEAN productivity has improved over recent decades, much of this has simply been the broad shift out of agriculture, rather than improvements within individual sectors. The confluence of disruptive digital technologies, that is Industry 4.0, can change this beyond recognition. Globally, this new industrial revolution is expected to yield gains of between $1.2 trillion and $3.7 trillion by 2025. Of this, ASEAN has the potential to capture productivity growth worth between $216 billion to $627 billion. Realising this potential will require real collaboration between governments, industry and academia. Governments need to provide tax incentives and financial support, promote industrial alliances, encourage pan-regional cooperation, support training and talent initiatives, and establish clear national standards. Companies need to find ways to overcome existing barriers, form collaborative industrial clusters, and build global partnerships to ensure access to the latest technologies. Universities and training institutions will need to modify their current talent development strategies to fit the demands of the future workforce. In particular, there must be a strong focus on fusing new digital and analytics expertise with technology and business skills. They must also support technological development by pushing both basic and applied research in Industry 4.0. The ASEAN region must begin a digital transformation as soon as possible. Business models, production systems, and eventually entire companies will need to be reshaped from a digital perspective. As profit pools readjust along the value chain, those companies that succeed in their transition early will be positioned to become future industry leaders, not only creating the factories of the future, but also reclaiming ASEAN's position as the factory of the world.
There, if you see at this report in 2018, you can see a lot of improvements now when I showed you the earlier slides. So you see there's tremendous improvements into people taking opportunities, turning their processes, turning their assets into digitalizations and making their data into a lot for insightful, meaningful input for their operations, their improvements, and also the other case studies that they are doing now. All right. Okay. My next slides, I'll be sharing you the 4 methods that you can use it to start off your digitalization journey, because a lot of people in the market, when we are meeting people, when we're seeing them, a lot of them are still not having any knowledges, not having any thoughts of how do I start, where do I start. So you can have a lot of methods that I'm going to share with you today, that you can pick up any of these methods and study, make an analysis, and you can turn this into a starting of your digitalization journey into your companies. All right. So first thing is that this method 1 has 5 W's and 1 H, where you can start how to make who to make the decision, what kind of decision you needed, what kind of information that you require, where do you go for this information, and when you should do this, and plus why you should do this. Their method 2, you can focus on many pain points that you can look over, like connecting. How do you connect to your assets? Is your assets connectable to various sensors, protocols, or even controllers? So you can think about all that. And you also think about big data availabilities. Even you have lack of courage, how to launch a digitalization plan. You can always discuss with us how you can be in help into making this happen. All right, there's a lot of methods that you can use into focusing into how to start up, okay? All right, this is another method. I call it method number 3, using lean manufacturing. Okay, you have up to down, top to bottom to top, you can implement many ways, all right? It is still in the hands of your company. How do you look at it? How do you want to start it? You can even start from bottom, or you can start it from the top. So in this case, if operation view, you can start implementing from the bottom. You can value stream, you can analyze, you find out using SWOT analysis, and then you see what are your capabilities. You pass it off to your fields of actions where you have a lot of case studies that you have, or a lot of incidents that happens in your manufacturing. So based on all these case studies, you know how to prioritize certain incidents to be improved. So this is how you make the implementation for a better solution. So you can bottom it to up, all right, and use the lean to recover all your cost effectiveness, efficiencies, and a lot of efficiencies, all right. Method 4 is vision oriented. I believe a lot of companies, they come with vision and mission. All right. So this is from the top to top down. All All right. When you top down your informations, you cannot get creation of your vision. You may set your strategies. What is your vision towards achieving digitalization journey? You can use a lot of case mapping, evaluations, concept development, or you can even use your technical specification into certain asset managements and implement the solution accordingly. So that's one of the methods that method 4 can be much helpful on your journey. Simple approach. As I show you in this slide, it's very simple. Let's say a lot of y'all have only very legacy machines. I do not have any protocol. I don't know how to monitor my machine. Simple approach. You can just put a tower signal light on your particular machine and you can monitor that. You can extract the data from that signal light and you can able to monitor your machine availability, whether it's ideal, whether it's running or it's stopped. So simple as that. And this will be able to be monitored wherever you are. So isn't that something easy, something simple that you can start off with? So I'm just showing some simple approaches that you can take from here. But of course, down the road, we'll be sharing with you more approaches that you can take yourself in place. So before we have more in-depth discussion with another partner of ours, with Dr. Chua, I pass back to Dixon.
Thank you, Ms. Karen, for your amazing sharing. Now let's welcome our second speaker, Dr. Chua, who is the head of Malaysia's Smart Factory 4.0 at the Selangor Human Resource Development Center. He obtained his PhD in Control System Engineering and Bachelor of Engineering in Mechatronics Engineering from Monash University, Malaysia. His key area of expertise lies mainly in the area of control and automation system, fault detection and identification, and predictive maintenance strategies, which are widely used in Industry 4.0 applications. So here, I'll pass the mic to you, Dr. Chua.
Hi, a very good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Dixon, for the introduction. Thank you, Karen, for the opportunity for me to share with everybody here present today in this webinar session with regards to the digital path, right? How to start top to down or bottom to up. So without further ado, let me go through my slide. So that'll be slide number 1. Yeah. So today, this afternoon, what I will share with everybody would be more on how you can take, the next step in digital transformation in a more step-by-step approach, right? As we all talk about Industry 4.0, we always see it as a very big picture, right? However, how can we actually move forward, right, in a more step-by-step approach towards a more sustainable digital transformation, which will be something that I will share with everyone today. So the next slide. Yeah, so there'll be 3 key areas that I will share with everyone today. The first one will be the importance of digital transformation. This will be adding on to what Karen has shared earlier, right, on why you should get started in terms of digital transformation. Then talking about developing your digital transformation roadmap, right? I think that's very important when you want to talk about, moving, towards the Industry 4.0 journey. The roadmap is a very, very key important criteria. And last, I will share with you on what are the sort of ways or strategies where you can also start this journey in a more sustainable way through the talent development approach, right? So the next slide, please. So Industry 4.0, generally, we all talk about it as the next industrial revolution, right? Most of us always think that, okay, Industry 4.0 is more or less like a plug and play kind of a concept, right? However, what I would like to share with everyone today is that similarly to the rest of the industrial revolutions, 1, 2, and 3, right? Industry 4.0 is journey towards digital transformation, right? And this, I believe, is very, very important that everyone must understand that, we are all in this journey together, right? And being a journey, it means that there are a lot of, roads or roadmap that we need to take, in order to achieve our destination. So what are the stages in Industry 4.0 development path, right? We talk about, the IR 4.0 as a journey towards industrial revolutions. So now in terms of the stages, what are we looking at, right? When we talk about digitalization, we talk about computerization, connectivity, and what Industry 4.0 is really strong is basically providing you with real insights of what is actually happening in your current manufacturing operation, right? So the 4 key areas are like what is happening, which is basically you're seeing something, which is visibility, right? And then next question would be, why is it happening? So Industry 4.0 can help you understand why is it happening in your current manufacturing system. Then the next key strength of it, using data analytics, big data, AI and so on, will then be able to tell you what will happen, right? So that you're more prepared, you can adapt to the current situation. And last but not least is self-optimization, right? How can the system provide you with prescription for you to be able to take the next steps and make the right decision more strategically, right? Next slide, please. One of the key strength of implementing digital transformation in terms of Industry 4.0 would actually be reducing waste and optimizing your cost. Now, how do we do this, right? In actual fact, when we look at all our operations, the only constant that we have every day is actually time, right? So everyone has 24 hours in a day. Now, the question is, how do we make use of these 24 hours to be productive and to be effective, right? So this chart over here, what does it tell? It tells us that every single process of thought, right, from the point of event all the way to the point of decision making and taking actions are all time dependent, right? So an example, for example, your machine breaks down, right? Do you want to know it almost instantaneously that your machine has broken down, or do you want to know it half an hour later, right? Then the next part of it is insights, right? What is the root cause of your machine breaking down, right? How long do you take to identify the root cause, right? Then next will be, what kind of decisions that you have to take after you identify the root cause. How long do you take to make a decision? And last but not least, how long do you take before you make an action? All these are time dependent, and if you take a longer period of time, therefore you have wasted time, right? It is considered time wasted because it is considered as unproductive time, right? But if you could minimize all these time delays, right, therefore you actually ensure quicker resolution and hence minimizing your overall costs and minimizing any wastage, because every single minute spent, right, is basically money to the production system. So a clear illustration on how we can look at productivity or machine effectiveness, right, is basically by looking at a metric called OEE, right, overall equipment effectiveness, right? A simple example would be you have 8 hours of available time, right, to produce a certain part, correct? And you have a standard speed, you have an ideal speed, which is 1,000 pieces an hour, and total you have an objective of 8,000 pieces per shift, right? So let's say if totally your productive hours is only 6 hours, therefore you are only productive 75% of the time, which is your availability. Now next, you're supposed to produce 1,000 pieces an hour, but in actual fact, you only produce 700 pieces an hour on average. Therefore, you only achieve 70% of what you originally wanted to perform. Now last, you actually produce total of 4,000 over parts, but 168 of them are defective. So that's about 96% of your total quality. Now, if you look at availability, performance, and quality as a whole, right, you will see that it is still 70% and above, which is, well, you can consider it as a distinction or something like that. But if you combine them all together in a multiplier effect, you will see that you only achieve a 50% of OEE, right? And how is that? Because, everything regarding productivity and effectiveness is a combination of availability, performance, and quality, right, of your total production system. Next, please. Yeah, so basically, if you look at the total OEE scenario, what happens is basically you are using the metrics to identify 6 big losses. So from 3 parameters that you are measuring, you can directly already apply it to identify 6 big losses in your manufacturing system, right? You can look at breakdowns, setup and adjustment times, idling and minor stoppages, your speed of production, defects and rework, right? Rework is also considered as a waste, right? And your startup losses. These 6 big losses already could tell you a lot of information about your system, right? And once you identify these 6 big losses, you're able to minimize wastage from here and hence optimize your cost in overall. Now, the next question is, you have legacy machines, you have machines where, you want to collect data from, but, they are using controllers that are not IoT ready. So how do you then determine how to collect these kind of signals from machines, right? Which I'll bring you to the next slide. So basically, if you look at a machine in general, like most of the machines will have very, very similar parameters, right? You have, tower lights, you have emergency stop, start button, stop button, and you will have, the next thing is sensors, right? Your sensors will tell you if there's a part, there's no part, or what governs the operation of the system, right? From sensors, right, you can already tap information about your machine. For example, if your machine is down, what is the indicator? Which is your tower light will turn red, right? So the moment your tower light turns red, you can start to calculate your downtime. Now, performance can be calculated as part in to part out, basically the cycles, right? Your cycle time. So every cycle could be every time you push a button or when a part is moving on the conveyor. And quality, well, you can determine using sensors or you can determine using indicators or even your push buttons, right? So all these are signals from a machine that you can sort of tap and collect data and then move on to create a dashboard like this on the next slide. So basically what you're trying to do is to get the parameters from a system, collect certain data from there and formulate what you want to collect and build a dashboard. When you build a dashboard, straight away you are able to visualize what is the kind of data that you want to collect from your system, what are the performance metrics of your current system, and you can see clearly what are the trends of your production system, right? For example, if there is no data collection, right, or consistent data collection, you may have missed certain opportunities of improvements, right? You may not be able to identify some gaps where you could improve in your production systems. And once you have this kind of dashboard systems built up for one machine, the next thing you need to do is not just leave it at one machine, but to scale up. So the next slide you will see that from one machine you can scale up to multiple machines, right? Because you want to see the overall effectiveness of your factory, right? You don't just want to stop at one point, but you want to scale up further, right? And this is actually very important for many industries to see and understand how they want to scale up their operations more sustainably and scalably. The next slide will share with you what are the key advantages of digital transformation for your production system, right? So basically you look at reducing your machinery costs, improving your machine utilization, and of course, improving your production output. So there are a lot of benefits to actually scale up your digital transformation initiatives for your production system, which will improve your overall productivity. So next, I will talk about more on, how do you develop your digital transformation roadmap, right? And this slide, the next slide over here, will talk about, when you look at transforming your overall digital transformation journey, it's always important to ensure that there is very, very much very flexible connectivity throughout your whole automation pyramid, right? So you start from the field level, and then you go up to the control level, supervisory level, your manufacturing execution system, which is your MES, and then of course moving up to your ERP system, which is your enterprise resource planning. Most of the time, we do certain integrations, but we may have left out certain points of integration throughout our whole automation pyramid. So the question is, how do we ensure that connectivity is really seamless across all platforms, from the field level all the way to the management level? So the next slide, we talk about modularity as a key factor for a sustainable factory concept, right? When we talk about modularity means that, at every level of the automation pyramid, there is always a way to connect, right? And visualize and integrate everything, right? From the field level all the way to the management level. And this modularity concept or flexibility concept can cut across multiple levels of automation strategies. So the next slide, we'll talk about more on, step-by-step, right? Maturing towards the fourth industrial revolution, it's a step-by-step approach, right? First, you have to collect data, then you process the data, and then you make a decision and take an action. So this step-by-step approach will help you to identify what are the key areas of prioritization. And then from prioritizing those areas, you're able to make valuable decisions on what you want to take control next. So one of the key current initiatives by Malaysian Productivity Corporation, in the next slide, we'll talk about Productivity 1010 program, where industries can actually use to understand, what are the value created, And of course, when you can actually create value for yourself, now that is where the ROI comes in, right? You have ROI, you can see your ROI and how fast your ROI can be realized through your digital transformation strategies, right? And of course, the next slide, we'll talk about building your transformation roadmap, right? You talk about, you start off with leadership buy-in first. Why leadership buy-in? Is because you want to ensure that, when you want to deploy a certain technology, you have to have a leadership buy-in first, right? It cannot be from, from the bottom level that wants to try to do things, and then you have other ad hoc tasks to complete. Next is prioritizing areas of funding, prioritizing talents, building your lighthouse projects. And one key concept here is building your ambassadors of the company. Once you have ambassadors in the company to talk about Industry 4.0, talk about digital transformation, it's basically a very, very seamless approach to build your domain expertise and scale up. Now, one point here at the end of this roadmap that I showed here, basically, we talk about continuous improvement, right? So the next slide, we'll talk about Kaizen, where, the Kaizen approach is actually looking at, what are the continuous improvement strategies towards Industry 4.0. And one of the key part that I want to emphasize here is, the people development part, which is the next slide, which is basically, talking about a people-focused strategy, right? And once you have a people-focused strategy, you build technology ownership towards your transformation, you build domain expertise, and then you can scale up. And of course, you need to look at scalable technologies, which is the next slide. Technologies that are ready to replicate, modular enough for you to scale up, and hence creating what we call as maximum value creation. So basically, these are some of the key steps to build your digital transformation roadmap. I will quickly go through, what are the sort of concepts of the digital transformation journey. So basically, the overall concept of it will be talking about integration of technologies towards the smart factory, right? So we talk about the three key areas: operational technology, information system technology, and the digital factory. Then the next slide, we'll talk about the five key concepts of, the framework of digital transformation, where we talk about, a brand neutral connectivity, open communication concept, open collaboration, between all technology partners, rapid prototyping, and of course, reducing the time to deploy. Now, the step-by-step approach in the next slide includes basically the maturity levels, right? It's good to identify where you are today, right? If you have not much data, you start off at level 1, and then slowly you go up to level 5, which is data analytics. And all these basically are something where, as HRDC, what we do is we package it as a program, which is the next slide. So talent development is a key core for us, where, every level we have a program, and every program we always ensure connectivity with our partners. So of course, every single program that we deliver are able to connect with, for example, V1 platform as well. So this is something where, people can learn how to integrate technologies and scale up to platforms like V1. So the next slide, we'll talk about a basic topology of how, your integration can look like from level 1 all the way to level 5. Right, you start off at the beginning, and all these are a step-by-step approach which we can work together to achieve. And of course, what does training do to support implementation? The next slide will show you a framework of how you can actually adopt a training methodology, right? You train your internal team, they pick up technologies faster, kick off a Kickstarter project, and then you scale up, right? And this has been, carried out by some of our participants from our programs, which they have started their journey. So the next slide will talk about some of the key services that we offer in the Malaysian Smart Factory, if you intend to come and visit us. And of course, when we talk about the journey towards digital transformation, it always starts with people and the organization. So we talk about change leadership, we talk about identifying change ambassadors, right? The talent development roadmap, setting up teams, and then move up from there. Always start in a step-by-step approach, and then slowly scale up from there. And with that, I will pass back to Dixon. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Chua, for your amazing sharing. And now let's welcome our last speaker, Mr. Tan Hock Kun from our V1 team, who is developing new sales opportunity for our Analytics Intelligence Solutions department. Here, I'll pass the mic to you, Mr. Tan.
All right, thank you, Dixon, for your introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Hock Kun. I'm a business development executive of Analytic Intelligence Solution. for ViTrox Technologies Tanjung Berhad. Okay, and today in these sessions, I'm going to share with you ViTrox Industry 4.0 Smart Manufacturing Solution, V1, and how V1 could play a role in your business digital transformation path once you have identified the right approach to start off your business transformation, either by using the top-to-down or bottom-to-up approach, the focus of pain point, or the continuous improvement approach shared by my colleague Karen and also Dr. Chua earlier. And in my next 15 minutes sharing, I'm going to bring you through what is V1, how our solution works via 3 steps, which are connect, visualize, proact, and I'll also be sharing with you the solution package offering available for V1, and there will be an exclusive token of appreciation for you that participated in today's session webinar. So stay tuned with me. Before I start my sharing, I would like to show you an introduction video about V1 so that you can have a brief idea and also overall picture on what is V1 before I start my presentation. So please enjoy the video. Okay, I hope you like and also enjoy our short clip. And here is an introduction of what V1 is. I would say V1 is an Industry 4.0 big data analytic platform that is able to collect data from various sources such as from cloud, the fog, or edge for you to do analysis with fully flexible self-created visualization, drill down chart, and dashboard to provide meaningful analytics to users in real-time basis. And in more advanced features, V1 are able to extend the platform towards complete data feeding for further artificial intelligence processing. In other words, V1 has the AI capabilities such as machine learning and deep learning incorporated in our solution. So when we talk about Industry 4.0 and also Industry Revolution, we are mainly focusing on the industrial and also the manufacturing sector, right? So within the manufacturing environment, V1 could easily and quickly connect and collect your machine, your sensor data, model this data and turn them into live and interactive visuals in order to provide you a greater visibility on what is happening and also what's going on in your production floor without the need to be physically present at your factory, all right? According to a research, there is about one terabyte of production data which is being generated by an average factory in a day. But sadly to say, there is only 1% of this data is being analyzed further and acted upon in real time. Therefore, in sum, we help you to digitize your manufacturing data, and with the data collected, you are able to use it to do further analysis in terms of identifying areas that you're actually performing well and what are the areas of lacking, or in other words, the opportunity for you to do improvement. We also help you to transform all this raw data into meaningful and also actionable insights by helping you to achieve predictive analytics using our machine learning module. So in my coming few slides, I'll be sharing with you, I will walk through with you how V1 works step by step through connect, visualize, proact. First, let us start with connecting. Besides the direct connection from your machine data and also production equipment, V1 can also work or compatible well with various kinds of devices, sensors, machine controller, or PLC. For example, For legacy devices that do not have a common machines communication protocol to be used or a proper data extraction method, we often help our customer to install external sensors like proximity sensors, tower light sensors, as well as temperature sensors on top of these legacy devices to get the system connected. For data transmission protocol and connection interface, well-known open source machines communication protocols such as MQTT, MT-Connect, OPCOA, and many more others are supported by V1. And last but not least, let's say you currently have any data which is storing in database formats such as MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, or even Microsoft SQL, and you wish to link this data to V1 for you to do further analysis, real-time monitoring or reporting, or even for machine learning purpose, it is also possible. Once everything is connected, your production machine, equipment, and system is connected, we help you to visualize your manufacturing data or information via V1 Digital Dynamic Dashboard. With V1, a production manager, an engineer, or an operator, or even the top management are able to keep a watchful eyes on their factory wherever they go to monitor in real time the machine's OEE, the production yield or output trend, as well as the machine cycle time, and the important machine parameters such as the speed, the temperature, and also the machine vibration level to ensure that the machine is in a healthy state. This is another sample dashboard from V1 where we assist our customer from the metal fabrication industry to real-time monitor their CNC machine status, the performance of machine in terms of the utilizations and the OEE percentage by connecting to various types of their CNC machining such as CNC milling, lathe, laser cut, and CNC wire cut machine. We understand that most of the Malaysian manufacturer, especially the SME, they are relying on this paper-based tracking and handling their production data on a piece of paper. And at the end of the day or at the end of the shift, they will need to get someone to manually key in all this data into Excel or Google spreadsheet for them to do a production analysis. So this process, I would say, is time-consuming, inefficient, and the data collected are unable to reflect in real time. Therefore, in order to fully digitalize your manufacturing process and replace the paper-based tracking method, we often propose to our client to implement some sort of barcode scanning HMI system for their production tracking purpose. So from there, we are able to help our clients to real-time monitor their job performance tracking, what is the work in progress, and also the yield analysis, as well as the quantity of the product produced by each of their production machine. Therefore, this results in complete visibility, control, and manufacturing optimization across your whole enterprise. Next, we also help you to proact with your data. First, let me share with you regarding our V1 real-time alert. Our alert module is able to deliver instant notifications or triggering to users via channel like mobile app or even email of any irregular changes, process abnormality, or during machine downtime. For instance, in our headquarters here, our manufacturing and facility team are using V1 to keep track on the temperature as well as the humidity for our VIE production floor. Therefore, when the environment does not meet the recommended level, our facility team are able to receive an alert about such an event. Therefore, immediate actions can be taken right away. And depending what is important to you, you may also receive an alert when your machine utilization falls below a certain level, such as 20%, if the asset utilization is important to you. In other cases, you can also receive notifications or an alert for any abnormality trend which is related to your production process, such as abnormal temperature and also vibration level. With V1 real-time alert, you are able to stop problems as they occur, therefore helping you to minimizing or even eliminating the unnecessary costs which is related to rework, scrap, and also material wastage. Second, machine learning with failure prediction. Once your system and production equipment are connected, the sensor will continuously stream the data to V1, and from there, your production, your maintenance team are able to monitor your machine data remotely, and ensure the machine is in a healthy condition. Okay. With V1 machine learning module, you are able to build model using historical data to forecast or to predict failure. The module proactively notify or alert your maintenance team of any future maintenance needs, whether your machine will be breakdown in the next 3 days, next 5 days, or even in a week in advance. In other words, we help our clients to achieve predictive maintenance, and from there allow them to enjoy the following benefits such as machine downtime reduction, help them to reduce the overall maintenance cost, and helping them to keep a longer asset life. All right, another useful features of V1, I would say, is our e-ticketing features that is able to complement with our alert module, and it is particularly important to monitor your machine's maintenance performance. Okay, and here is a picture of what an e-ticketing looks like. For example, when an alert rule is being triggered, a maintenance ticket can also be automatically generated and sent to the relevant PIC, such as your factory floor supervisor. And then the supervisor will need to determine what are the maintenance tasks to be scheduled, what are the machine type, the failure mode, and also this failure is come from which of your production plant, your production line, and then allow you to assign a technician for this issue or problem. And all the tickets created can be kept track and traced via V1 e-ticketing dashboard. With this e-ticketing dashboard, all the ticket informations can be monitored in real time, such as the open ticket quantity, which means the ticket has been created, but the issue or the problem is yet to be responded by your technician, and also what is amount of ticket in the monitoring, repairing, and also close stage, respectively. With the data collected, you are able to use it to analyze information like what are the top failure mode by your production plant, by your production line, or even by the machine type. And from there, allow you to formulate a better plan or strategy which is related to your future maintenance activities. As regard to the solution package offering for V1, we provide both on cloud and also on-premise solution for our client. For our cloud package, the concept is pretty simple. In terms of deployment method, all your data we help you to store on a secure shared server at our vendor data center from AWS, which means you do not need to invest or set up any on-premise hardware or server within your organization to use our cloud solution. As for the investment cost, it is based on user monthly or even yearly subscription. Therefore, the upfront costs are generally low, I would say, with predictable costs over time. In terms of security, it is the vendor responsibility to manage and also to protect your data. And last but not least, one of the key advantages of our cloud solution is that you are able to access all your production data, your application, and also your V1 account wherever you are, as long as you are connecting to the internet. For our on-premise solution, your data can be stored on an internal server located within your own organization. In other words, you are able to have a complete control over your own data. And the upfront investment costs are generally higher, I would say, compared to the cloud solution, as you need to invest not only in the software license and also the hardware infrastructure, there is also some yearly maintenance costs involved. Anyway, since you're only paying for your user license once, thus our on-premise solution making it an investment that can pay off over time. For data security wise, it is the user responsibility and yours alone to retain all of your data and remain in control of what happened to it. All right. And last but not least, as for the accessibility, you may access the application and your account wherever you are in the company premise. So basically, this is the comparison for our cloud and also on-premise solution. If you were to ask me which package is more suitable to you, I would say it depends. Okay, it actually depends on what is your requirement in terms of your company IT resources, whether do you have an IT team or IT personnel to maintain all this hardware and server, And also depending on whether do you mind putting your data over the internet, or you prefer to keep your data within an internet server, as well as what are the total budget allocated for such an investment. Okay. Anyway, this could always serve as a comparison for you to weigh the pros and cons for the cloud and also on-premise solution. And from there, you are able to decide which solution package will be much more suitable for your own organization. And here is some of our customer comment and testimony towards V1. So if you are interested to see what our customers said to us, and also what are the key features that they like the most about V1, and what are the challenges, pain point that they managed to overcome after implemented our solution, you can go to our V1 official website, and from there you are able to read all these our customer testimony. And here is our V1 ecosystem integration. With the flexibility of V1 as well as the data blending features, the database that we are supporting, we could easily help you to blend your data from your business operational technology, such as from your SCADA system, your machine PLC, your MES system, as well as to link up your company, your organization information technology data, such as from your ERP system, your procurement, warehouse management system. And from there, you are able to visualize the overall company performance and also productivity at once. And here is a list of our ecosystem collaboration partner. Okay, as V1 itself is more to an software-based solution, so in order to make it easy for our customer to implement V1 within their operation, throughout the year, we're collaborating and working closely with quite a number of system integrators throughout Malaysia, where they are working with us in terms of supplying all the necessary hardware, server, and sensors, and also IoT technology gateway, and also provide our customer consultation in terms of machine integration. Therefore, we are able to provide you a one-stop solution from getting your machines connected, digitize your manufacturing data, and eventually bring you towards Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing. All right. As a token of appreciation, we are glad to offer you a free virtual smart manufacturing consultation session, which is limited to 20 slots based on first come, first served basis. So if you have the planning moving towards automation, digitalization, and smart manufacturing, but do not know how to start and where to begin, please grab this opportunity by scanning the QR code here and book a free consultation session with our experienced and reliable Industry 4.0 consultant. And we'll be glad to understand and also to evaluate your current business pain point and challenges. And from there, get to know you better in terms of your company requirement and needs, and provide you a specific tailor-made recommendation to how to start your smart manufacturing step by step. Okay, next slide. All right, before I end my sharing, I would like to share with you, with over 1.3 million hours of R&D time that we have spent on V1, and also our experience on what works, what doesn't work throughout the past 6 years, we strongly believe we are able to assist you to start your smart manufacturing journey. Therefore, we welcome you to partner with us in this journey towards Industry 4.0. And here come to the end of my sharing for today's session. Thank you very much for your time spending with me, and I will pass the floor to the moderator today, Dixon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tan, for your amazing sharing. Now we'll move on to the Q&A session. Just a reminder, please be sure to submit your question. Meanwhile, we would really appreciate it if you could spend some time answering the webinar survey poll to express your experience with us today. There'll be a pop-up on your screen with the survey poll. Kindly take a few moments to answer them while we continue with the Q&A session. Once again, thank you for your insightful presentation, Ms. Karen, Dr. Chua, and Mr. Tan. Okay, it looks like we have received some questions from our participants. So we have arranged to answer some of the questions from all the questions submitted to us. So now let's move on to the first question. Okay, so the first question would be for Ms. Karen. Like, What is the cost for both of the system, and is it scalable for multiple equipments and sensors?
Okay, let me answer that. Basically, it depends on how big is the data and number of machines that we are going to be connected to. So this will multiply the average of which package that we can be suitable to the customer. So we can start from the smaller package, medium package, and also the high-end package. So it depends of number of equipments and number of or size of the data that we want to put in, especially for on-prem and also the cloud packages. This can be customizable and work on customers' needs and requirements. I hope this answered the questions.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Ms. Karen. Now, moving on to the second question. This question is for Mr. Tan. The question is V1 applicable to all industries?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, I would say V1 is applicable to most of the industry. Anyway, our core strength will be on serving our customer from various manufacturing sectors, such as E&E, semiconductor, metal fabrication, automotive, and as well as the rubber glove industry. As I said earlier, we are able to connect to almost any type of machine, regardless of the brand, the function, and also the age of the machine. All right. So for newer kind of machine, we usually are able to connect the data from the machine controller or PLC itself by using the available machines communication protocol such as OPCUA, MT-Connect, or MQTT. And for legacy machine, we can help you to install some suitable sensors and also IoT technology to get this system connected. So the answer is yes, V1 could apply to most of the manufacturing industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tan, for your answer. And here for the third question, we have one for Ms. Karen. As a SME, where should we begin if we want to kickstart digital path?
Okay, so I would recommend that they can use the methods that we have shared today. There are various methods that they can use to identify where to start from, how to start from, and they can always get back to us, discuss with us. We will do a consultation session with them, and we can give them guidance on where they can start and how they can start based on whatever information that they provide to us. All right. So I think this will be more appropriate way to us to work together with SMEs in helping them achieving all this digital transformation, and apparently the journey continues from now onwards. Right?
Okay, thank you for answering the question. All right, so due to time constraint, we are not able to perform all the Q&A session and all answer your questions live here. As such, for those we have not answered your question, our experts shall reply to your questions through email after the webinar. All right, so thank you everyone. We appreciate you being here. Stay tuned for our upcoming webinar and our e-newsletter, LinkedIn and Facebook page as well. If you haven't followed our LinkedIn and Facebook page, we highly recommend you to do that so you can get the latest news from us no matter where you are. If you wish to learn more about V1 package subscription, please feel free to reach out to us via v1.com.my and submit inquiry form from our contact us webpage. Okay, so thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time on our next webinar. Stay healthy and stay strong. Thank you.